The first time I saw him in that car, he didn't look like a child anymore. He was curled on the torn back seat, arms wrapped around his ribs, whispering through split lips, "Uncle, please help me." 6 years old, bones too sharp under bruised skin, eyes too hollow for his age. I reached out, but he flinched, like my hand was just another strike waiting to happen. That was when I called his parents. My voice was clipped, urgent. "He's here, alone, hurt." Their laughter spilled through the line. Distant waves, clinking glasses, the hollow joy of people who had abandoned their own blood. "We're at the beach, don't bother us, we're having fun." And they hung up. The silence that followed wasn't silence at all. It was the sound of something snapping inside me. At first, I thought neglect, selfishness, the kind you can explain away with money, with excuses. But as I studied him, every mark, every word left unsaid, I realized this was deeper, deliberate. His wrists bore the shape of fingers, his back the map of belts. His silence wasn't shyness, it was training, conditioned fear. I drove him to my house that night, made him soup he barely touched, sat across from him as he dozed in a chair, his body trembling even in sleep. And I couldn't stop hearing their laughter. My own brother and his wife, my blood. They had abandoned him to rot in that car, then mocked me for noticing. That was the betrayal. Not just against him, against me, against the very idea of family. And something inside me shifted. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't beg them to care. I would make them choke on their own cruelty. I began collecting proof. Photos of the bruises, time-stamped. A doctor's report after a discreet visit to the clinic. My nephew's whispered confessions, recorded when he thought I wasn't listening. I checked school attendance, weeks of absences. Neighbors' testimonies. Yes, they saw him alone in the car for hours, days. I traced their financials next. Beach resorts, vacations, luxury meals, thousands spent on indulgence, while their son lived like a stray. I smiled at them when they called, said nothing when they mocked me for playing parent, pretended to believe their stories about him being clumsy and difficult. On the surface, I was compliant. Beneath it, I built a case sharp enough to sever every tie they thought unbreakable. The nights were hardest. Watching him wake in terror, crying without sound, holding him as he whispered, "Don't send me back." I didn't answer, because the answer wasn't ready yet. But it was coming. The report arrived in a neat folder, black ink on white paper, clinical, undeniable. Child Protective Services confirmed what I already knew: chronic neglect, physical abuse, unfit guardianship. I read it once, then again. Each word was a blade carving away any last remnant of family loyalty. That weekend, they returned from their trip, sunburned, drunk with pleasure. I invited them over, told them their son was with me, safe. They came, laughing, already annoyed. When they walked in, I placed the folder on the table, said nothing, just slid it toward them. They opened it. Their faces shifted. Mockery to confusion, confusion to dread. Where did I cut in, calm, steady? From the truth you've been running from. Their mouths moved, but no sound mattered anymore. "You laughed at him," I said. My voice was low, but it carried. "You laughed at your own child begging for help. You left him in a car to rot while you toasted at the beach." My brother tried to speak, excuses spilling. I didn't flinch. "This report goes to court tomorrow. Custody hearing. Evidence stacked so high your lawyers won't bother to climb it." His wife broke first. Tears, pleas, promises. I leaned back, hands folded. "No. You don't get redemption. You don't get him. You'll live knowing the child you abandoned calls someone else home." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. Truth was louder than rage. That night, I tucked him into bed. My bed. He clutched the blanket like it was the first safe thing he'd ever known. I sat in the dark, listening to his breathing steady. My brother and his wife had lost more than custody. They had lost the illusion of power, of parenthood, of control. I felt no pity, only clarity. Family is not blood. Family is protection. And some betrayals are so absolute, they erase the very word family from your mouth. I kissed my nephew's forehead, whispered the only promise I could keep. You're safe now. Then I turned off the light, and in the dark, I finally understood. They hadn't abandoned him. They had abandoned themselves.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.